Okay, we're going to go through some basics of your Desmos activity, and this is where I'm going to end up. But you want to just go to Desmos Graphing Calculator. So if you just type that in, you Google Desmos Graphing Calculator and you click on this, it will come up. And you want to look up here in the corner because you can click sign in. You can see I'm already signed in, but when you do that, that allows you to save your graphs. So that's really nice because then you can come back to them and you don't have to start over. Okay, so here, your goal is to create your initial with at least 4 lines, but hopefully you get into this and you want to do a couple more than 4, but I want one of them to be vertical, one to be horizontal, one positive and one negative. Let me show you some basics here. If you just type y equals 4, you get a horizontal line. If you want a vertical line, you just have to make it x equals. So here's x equals -5. There's our vertical line. And of course, for a slanted line, you're just doing y equals mx plus b. So you can type in anything there, and here is our slanted line with a positive slope. So remember that your y-intercept would be right here at 5.8, and your slope would be a 2. So if you want to change that angle of the line, just change your slope a little bit. Make it negative if you want it to go down. Something that can be helpful is over here on the side. If you get into scrolling and can't find your graph, or you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can always just click on the home button and it centers you again. I kind of like it like that so I can see the 10s. All right. The other thing that you're going to want to do is create a start and a stop point for your lines. It's really domain restrictions and range restrictions, but you need to just type in here, like if I say -7 is less than x is less than 5, then you can see that it started my line at -7 and it stopped it at 5. So for a vertical line, you actually have to do that for y. If I want this to start at -1, I would use a y is less than 6, okay? And it started my line at -1 and it stopped it up here at 6, okay? So that kind of cleaned up my screen a little bit. Notice when you type this in, you got to use these curly brackets called braces, okay? -1, when you type this in, you can't use parentheses. You got to use the curly braces, okay? All right, so this one, let's say I want to start at 0 and stop at 2.2. All right, and there we go. This last one here, so that's just for lines, but this last one, we know how to control a curve as well. If I click this one on, this would just be a parabola that has a vertex at -3, 4. Remember how you can control that by putting in a +3 here and a +4. And you can tell that I told it to start at -6 and stop at 0. So if you have the initials TJ, then lucky you, because this would be a good example, but I've created those initials TJ. You can turn them into whatever you want. I'll show you mine here in a second. One more thing here, you can click on plus and you can create a folder. So if you create a folder and you call it T, you can take each of your lines, you can change the colors there too, and you can attach it to, wait, why won't it drag? There we go. There we go. And see how it creates that little line and it attaches it to the T. So now it's in that folder, and we can do the same thing here with this, attach it. So you can hide those lines if you're done with them and you don't want to see them anymore. Okay. If you click save, this is where you will see that your graphs are saved. Okay, so when you want to come back to it, you can click over here and pick out what you've already saved. All right. So here's one that I have done. You can take a look over here for my K. I have a vertical line and I have 2 slanted lines. I got fancy here and I used a greater than, which created this dotted line and shaded it, because we just learned how to do that. So if you want to do that, you can, but you'd have to restrict your X and tell it where to stop shading for Y also. Okay, down here in the corner, you can also open up the keyboard and you can get more options for like greater than or equal to or something like that. So take a look. This is just a vertical line here, a horizontal line. It kept it pretty basic for the E. And then for the S, I put a couple curves in it. Remember that this is just controlled by your vertex. So it's pretty easy to put in. I think I wanted it 3, 5, so you put those numbers in there. All right, happy creating. I hope you have a little fun with this.